Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
Where every day is Saturday and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. So make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, best phones, best networks, no contracts. What did I say? What did I say? Now, I know we got a New York Jets playing tonight in Detroit with Sam Darnold, the rookie, starting. I know yesterday afternoon, we saw a 37-year-old quarterback in Eli Manning look relatively pedestrian and average in the New York Giants' loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, an elite defense in the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though I saw Eli Manning missing targets all over the place periodically, that is. But when you talk about elite quarterbacks, when you talk about a reason for the city of angels, Los Angeles, for the city of Gotham City, New York City, and every damn city in between, when you talk about cities salivating for the greatness of a quarterback, I mean, damn it, we might as well say, we might be able to say Boston wish they had him too. I'm talking about the one and only Aaron Rodgers. And you know where I'm going with this. I tried to tell y'all again. I'm going to say it because evidently people have a hard time listening to me and understanding me where I'm coming from when I say this. He's a bad man. Whoa! This brother's on another level. I'm just trying to tell you something. Listen, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. I tried to tell y'all. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, let me confess that I almost shedded tears last night. I almost cried. When Aaron Rodgers went down in the second quarter, and he was grabbing that knee, and he had to be wheeled off of Lambeau Field, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought the season was over. I really, really did. I said it's over. He's not coming back. It's over. The season is over. The Green Bay Packers are absolutely positively nothing without him. And their season of championship aspirations has been reduced to rubble in the blink of an eye. And then Aaron Rodgers, obviously, when he got wheeled off, Deshaun Kaiser, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, was a turnover waiting to happen, was absolutely god-awful. Almost got Hugh Jackson fired last season. He was so awful. He comes up in there. There's a strip sack by the hands of Khalil Mack. There's also a pick six by Khalil Mack. Listen, Khalil Mack just signed 9 days ago. He's clearly not in football shape. But there's a reason this four-time All-Pro, who made an All-Pro team both as a defensive end and a linebacker, there's a reason why the Bears gave up 2 first-round picks to get him. There's a reason why the Bears were willing to give this brother the money they were willing to give him. There's a reason that everybody should have their eyes on John Gruden as we speak in Oakland, California. You can't pick up the phone and call the Mac Daddy himself, Khalil Mack. You can't sit up there and use your salesman-like approach, your motivational tactics to see what you can do to convince this dude to stay in Oakland. When approached by reporters, I believe it was Chris Collinsworth, but I'm not sure, and Khalil Mack was asked if more of a concerted effort had been made to reach him and to have a conversation with him and to say, look, we want you here in Oakland come hella high water, and ultimately Las Vegas come hella high water. We want you as a part of the silver and black, and we're going to do everything we can to take care of you. Would that have made a difference? Khalil Mack said yes. He said yes. And the fact that he said yes is all that we should need to know. But it didn't go down that way, y'all. It didn't go down that way. And as a result of it not going down that way, you see what we have before us. What we have before us is a situation right now where Oakland, who knows what's going to happen, Khalil Mack and that Chicago Bears defense is no joke, but they went up against the baddest man on the planet. And let me be very, very clear. Aaron Rodgers does not have Tom Brady's resume. Aaron Rodgers does not have 5 rings. Aaron Rodgers does not have 8 trips to the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is not, resume-wise, what Tom Brady is. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I'm stepping that far out on a limb when I say to you that I believe, that I truly believe in my heart of hearts, that Aaron Rodgers is the greatest talent at the quarterback position I've ever seen. 39-yard touchdown pass to Geronimo Allison, another 12-yarder to Devontae Adams, a 75-yarder when he zipped in a ball over across midfield to Randall Cobb, who scampered 75 yards for a touchdown, helping the Green Bay Packers overcome a 20-point deficit, 20-0, the largest deficit overcome by Aaron Rodgers in his career. And the Green Bay Packers ultimately upset the Chicago Bears 24-23. You can call it an upset or you can choose not to. But in the end, if you're the Chicago Bears and you got a 20-point lead with that defense, you are not supposed to lose that game. But Aaron Rodgers is a bad brother. He is something special. And as a result, the Green Bay Packers are 1-0 on the season. The Chicago Bears are 0-1. I will confess to you, I'm not going to hold it against so much but Chicago's defense, because I got news for you. The Chicago Bears, sit up there and say what you want to, but that defense should be special this year. They really, really should. And when you think about what they bring to the table, I'm sorry, I'm not ruling anything out about the Chicago Bears because I think that defense is going to be special. I think Khalil Mack is going to be special. The one thing that they needed was an edge rusher. And the fact that you now have that with Akeem Hicks and the rest of the crew, I got news for you. The Chicago Bears should make some noise. So the NFC North is going to be incredibly competitive because between Minnesota and Green Bay and Chicago, and we'll see what Detroit gives us tonight when they're going up against the New York Jets, NFC North is going to be very, very competitive. It really, really should. One can make the same argument about the NFC East. We saw Philadelphia handle their business against Atlanta. We know that it's week 1. And because it's week 1, you expect people to look a bit rusty and not themselves. We get all of that. The other thing that we have to pay attention to is what the rest of the division is. Because when I looked at the division, I saw the Dallas Cowboys yesterday against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Dallas's defense looked impressive. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers looked a bit hobbled, even though he ran the football effectively and rushed in for a touchdown and at times looked very formidable. The reality is that their offense wasn't that impressive. And Cam Newton's going to need to run the football a lot in order for Carolina's offense to be effective. And if you're Ron Rivera and the crew and North Turner, do you really, really want Cam Newton not to run? You probably do because he's the franchise, but that's when he's at his best. The flip side to it is that even though you were going up against a good Carolina defense, the Dallas Cowboys offense is anemic. How in the hell do you justify giving Ezekiel Elliott just 15 carries? Tell me what sense that makes. How does that make sense to anybody? He's Ezekiel Elliott. He's averaging over 4 yards a carry. Last year, he averaged about 24 yards a carry. 24 carries per game, rather. He was either that or the year before. In his first 2 years in the league, he averaged 21 and 24 carries a game, respectively, if I remember correctly. How do you justify not giving Ezekiel Elliott the damn ball when Des Bryant's gone, when Jason Witten's gone, when you're relying on Terrence Williams, some dude named Deontay Thompson, Cole Beasley, Allen Hurns? How do you not give Ezekiel Elliott the football? How do you possibly justify that? Makes no sense whatsoever. Just reminds me how overrated Jason Garrett is. That's all it does. That's all it does. Dallas's defense, however, impressive. And as an aside, I just want to sit up there and say I didn't blame DeMarcus Lawrence one bit when it was brought to his attention how Des Bryant was tweeting about the Cowboys and how he wants to be a New England Patriot or a Washington Redskin and all of this other stuff. DeMarcus Lawrence is like, yo, man, we just lost a football game. You think I give a damn about some tweets from Des Bryant or anybody else? We just lost. That is the right attitude to have. DeMarcus Lawrence is absolutely positively right. And we all need to be very, very clear about that. Right here, right now. And this notion, I got news for you. I believe in Dak Prescott. I actually like Dak Prescott. But what he was his rookie campaign, he damn sure wasn't that last season. And game 1 of this season, he wasn't impressive again. Balls were underthrown. They were overthrown. There was an absence of touch there. I understand that a lot of these teams, you got to get the practice in and what have you. But Dak Prescott was not impressive. He was off. He was absolutely positively off, which we all know. Let's just call it like it is. Let's just call it like it is. He was off, and that is that. And somehow, some way, they're going to have to figure this out. By the way, if you don't believe me with what I'm telling you about DeMarcus Lawrence of the Dallas Cowboys, listen to what he had to say about Dez's tweets to the media after the game. Take it away.
Dez, my guy. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, no more comments. No more. I mean, what I'm supposed to say?
Until Dan Bailey tweets it. And then you really got to start.
Bro, why we sitting here, bro? We just lost the game and y'all talking about some tweets. Y'all really think I care about what Dez tweet or anybody tweets?
There you have it. We understand exactly where he's coming from. But in the end, here's what it comes down to. Dallas Cowboys ain't going anywhere. Dallas Cowboys ain't going to win this year either. Because their offense ain't going to be that impressive. It's just that simple. They can't get it together. Offense, defense, special teams, the three aligning with one another. Can't happen. Hasn't happened in 23 years. Ain't going to start now. I don't think Dallas is going to the playoffs at all. I am very surprised at how the Washington Redskins looked yesterday. Adrian Peterson looked pretty damn good. 100 touchdown, 166 total yards. Adrian Peterson was balling. Now, do I think that will last? No. Do I think Father Time is taking a step away from him? Yes. But he still can ball. That combined with Alex Smith not turning the ball over and getting production from other assets, Redskins were going up against the Arizona Cardinals, which I don't think is a good team this year. So we'll have to wait and see about what transpires. But in the end, the Redskins looked pretty good yesterday. The Giants, not so much. Now, you could make the argument that the New York Giants were going up against an elite defense in the Jacksonville Jaguars. You could also make the argument that Jalen Ramsey's supposed to be one of those dudes, and look what happened. Odell Beckham Jr., 11 receptions, 111 yards. Hadn't played since week 4 last year because of that injury, but he comes out and reminds you why he's so great. Eli Manning was underthrown and over. Eli Manning didn't look any better than Dak Prescott. Eli Manning reminded you he's 37 years of age. Eli Manning reminded you that he isn't what he used to be. And that more is expected. And I got to tell you something. It's a question mark as to whatever he's going to produce. These are all legitimate things. But we'll get into that as the show progresses. I got to sit up there. I promise you today, ladies and gentlemen, unless he is under a rock, has a family emergency, or something has happened to him, I promise you, my buddy Carlton from Tampa, formerly of Massachusetts, Carlton will call into the show today. Because my God, did Ryan Fitzpatrick, the former quarterback for the New York Jets, put on an absolute show against New Orleans yesterday. 417 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 21 of 28 passing. I don't think Jameis Winston's going to have the job wait for him when he gets back. And when you look at Tampa's receiving course with Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson, I got to tell you something. Tampa might surprise a few people. Now, it don't help that you gave up 40 points to Drew Brees and the Saints. Because your defense is supposed to be better than that, even though Drew Brees is something special. But once again, after one game, we find ourselves looking at the New Orleans Saints and saying it's just Drew Brees and that offense, and everything is predicated on that because Sean Payton can't seem to get the man a damn defense to save his life. You won a Super Bowl 8 years ago. Damn it, what have you done since? 8, 9 years ago, what have you done since? And could you get Drew Brees a defense, pretty please, with sugar on top? I mean, damn. Get the man a defense. So we got that to think about there. In the AFC, I'm in a good mood. I'm not going to talk about my Steelers just yet. I don't want to. Because if I talk about the Steelers, I might lose my mind. Big Ben Roethlisberger, 3 interceptions in the first half, 5 turnovers for the game. No Le'Veon Bell. James Conner filled in admirably, but damn it, you still need Le'Veon Bell. And you tied a team that's 1-31 over the last 2 years. It was 0-16 last year. Denzel Ward, by the way, that other first-round pick for the Cleveland Browns, is special. And Myles Garrett is coming. Yes, Cincinnati beat Indy with Andrew Luck's return. Don't care because of Cincinnati. I don't care what they do. They're not going to win in the playoffs, and I don't think Marvin Lewis should have his job. That's my feeling on that. I watched the Baltimore Ravens destroy the Buffalo Bills 47-3, and what I walked away with was 2 things. The Buffalo Bills might be the worst team this decade. They might be the worst team we've seen this decade. And this dude, Nathan Peterman, ladies and gentlemen, how is he a quarterback? I mean, you want an argument made on behalf of Colin Kaepernick. What? Don't even bring up protests. Don't even bring up collusion. You don't even have to say it. All you have to do is point the finger at the city of Buffalo and say, that's their quarterback, but I can't have a job in the NFL. Nathan Peterman is the greatest argument on behalf of Colin Kaepernick that exists in the NFL today. How does this man have a quarterback job? How? Ladies and gentlemen, he passed for 24 yards. 24 yards passing. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Ladies and gentlemen, that means that if he played the entire NFL season, 16 games, he wouldn't eclipse 1,000 yards passing. I mean, it doesn't get more pathetic. I mean, I don't know if there's a higher definition of patheticness than that. I mean, what an atrocity. An atrocity. You can't make this up. Colin Kaepernick, you don't even have to bring up collusion. Just look at the judge and go like this. Nathan Peterman has a job as a quarterback in the NFL. What evidence do you need other than that? Judge should hand down the gavel. He's got a damn point. He's got a point. Y'all got to be colluding because how does this guy have a job but Colin Kaepernick does not? That's all you have to do. That's how bad Nathan Peterman is. I mean, just an atrocity. An atrocity. Sean Watson didn't have a good day. He looked better than that, but he didn't have a good day. Not against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So all of that stuff and more are here to be talked about right here in the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, and ESPN News. 888-SAY-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 888-729-3776. I mean, listen. We'll continue to talk about all of this as the show progresses. We will. But I will tell you this. We have to get to a bigger subject, and it's unavoidable. The biggest story of the weekend was what happened at the U.S. Open in women's tennis with Serena Williams, in fairness, being thoroughly outplayed by 20-year-old Naomi Osaka of Japan. For those of you who don't know, she ultimately was deducted a point and a game eventually because Serena Williams just went off. You know, the referee had warned her about receiving coaching from the box from her coach. Serena Williams immediately walked over to the official and said, I don't cheat. I would rather lose than cheat. The coach ultimately admitted he was coaching her, but he doesn't think she saw him trying to coach her. He was telling her to move up closer to the line. Eventually she got frustrated, slammed her racket, got deducted a point. She made a case about that. And the coach's name, by the way, is Patrick Mouratoglou. And then after she made a case about that, she demanded an apology from him. He did tell her, the coach, Carlos Ramos, told her he was not going to apologize to her. And she called him a thief. He deducted the game from her. She went ballistic, made a scene, and a lot of people in the fans and attendants and everybody, they were booing profusely once she ultimately lost the match. They were very supportive of Serena. The official is usually welcomed on stage at the end of the tournament. He was not, because obviously he didn't need to be up there. Serena refused to shake his hand. She said, "You owe me an apology," et cetera, et cetera. And she was also making the case that there are plenty of men who do far worse. And she doesn't believe it was right. She brought up the issue of sexism, etc. Let me say this. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know my positions about Serena Williams, I have been on the record stating on many occasions she is the GOAT. If she were a man, we'd be calling her the greatest to have ever lived. We wouldn't be saying this about Muhammad Ali or Michael Jordan or anybody like that. We'd be saying it was Serena Williams if she were a man. She is the GOAT. When you consider the sustained level of excellence, it's undeniable. When you consider from whence she comes from, where she came from, Compton, California, the trials and tribulations, the battles, the adversity that she's been able to overcome in her life, playing in the world of tennis, which Patrick McEnroe acutely pointed out on the telecast yesterday on SportsCenter. She's overcome a lot. So if you throw context into the equation in that regard, there's no denying the greatness of Serena Williams, even more so. But strictly and solely as it pertains to her assertions about Carlos Ramos, the official, this past weekend, Serena Williams was not in the right. She was actually wrong. That was Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Craving even more of Stephen A?
Him of all people!
For around-the-clock access to the man?
I'm Stephen A!
You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Stephen A. Smith and on Facebook at Stephen A.